to another episode of the Destroy the Stumps podcast. So today, ladies and gents, just going to be doing a quick season review because the rugby league season starts.
Preview.
Yeah, the preview actually. Sorry, it starts this. Yeah, I mean, it starts this week. They have I think 2 games in Las Vegas, America.
Yes, baby.
Las Vegas, Nevada.
That's it.
Trying to promote the game in a big market in the US.
America.
It'll be interesting to see how that goes.
Yeah.
And it's a bold move. I reckon it's a bold move.
It is.
Let's see what happens there.
It had to be done, right? It had to be done.
Yeah, they have to expand rugby league. There is potential, but let's see how it goes.
Promotions have been good as well. Did you see the ad they created for the rules that Russell Crowe narrated? That was done pretty good. I didn't mind that.
Talking like he was in the Gladiator.
Yeah, right. Exactly. 5 minutes as well.
Oh man, yeah. Ross, but yeah. They've done now. Hugh Jackman apparently wants to get involved in promoting the game as well. He's a Manly supporter.
Yes.
Like some people.
#1 season ticket holder apparently, but he doesn't show up to any games.
Yeah, Manly supporter.
That's it, man.
Some people.
Tommy Turbo. Oh no.
Okay, yeah. See, the camera doesn't want to talk about this. Jacks. It's all good. It's all good.
It's not working my way.
Nah, it's all good. Yeah, it's a bit windy today in some part of New South Wales.
Yes.
It's an interesting season. A lot of teams have recruited. One team in particular, the Bulldogs, have recruited heavily. Roosters have recruited. I reckon they've recruited smartly.
Yeah.
Got some decent buys there. A lot of teams have probably invested in some youth as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
And some looks like different teams have different. Looks like a lot of teams are determined this year.
That is true, yeah.
And it'll be interesting to see if some of the teams that finished the bottom half last year, how they go as well. Also the teams that surprised a few people, how they back up as well. But it's an interesting season. It promises to be good. Hopefully the refs stay okay. The refs were copped a lot of criticism. But when you look at the Super League refereeing, maybe our maybe NRL refs aren't that bad. And they copped a bit too much criticism.
That dude was like 5 meters short when he grounded the ball. Oh my
God. Oh man.
That happened in an NRL grand final or a finals match. Oh.
Yeah, probably alright.
Be riots across Western Sydney.
Yeah, man. But seriously, definitely a promising season. And I think they have the Tri Nations or something at the end of the season or something. They might have. So
the Tri Nations on.
That's going to be good.
Yeah.
State of Origin looks like it's going to be promising. Michael Maguire's going to be coach for New South Wales. A
very
lot's
fresh.
happening.
I just hope with the Origin match, especially, I reckon, just like rehash it, like reset the whole thing, like. Don't go for the same players that have been playing for the last few years. Just
Think you've got to go with a new formula.
Build and rebuild. That's what you got to do. That's how
Definitely.
you got to do it.
And so a lot's happening. A lot happened in the off season. A lot's still happening now. It always happens even during the season. So
it's good to have footy back.
It's good to have footy back. Highly anticipated this year, and this year's pretty highly anticipated. So I've got my mate Vijay. Yes, we've been just talking, but I haven't introduced him. But probably seen him on other podcast episodes. Vijay, welcome, bro.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it. It's always good to be on here and give my footy insight.
Vijay will be helping out with the footy podcast this year. We're doing some live streams as well for the match commentary and that. Even go to the stadiums to watch some games.
100%.
I think the first game we're going to go to is the round 3 fixture at Combank Stadium, I think, or was it called Bankwest Stadium?
Bankwest, Combank, same
fucking
stadium.
Sponsorship.
I know.
It's not shit. It's actually a decent stadium. Better than bloody Shark Park. That's a hole.
You know I'm going to call it a shit stadium, bro. It's a
Okay, it's just the Parramatta Manly rivalry.
rivalry, bro.
The Combank's actually a pretty good stadium. Design-wise.
100%.
They've done a really good job there.
It is, yeah.
But yeah,
it sucks the people that go to it.
Okay. If our mate Kajin's watching, he's probably going to smash the screen. But going with our mate Kajin as well, who's a Parramatta supporter, and Vijay, he's a Manly supporter. I'll be the peacemaker, so it's going to be pretty hectic, and there'll be a few crazy moments. Last time I went with these two to a game, it was pretty bad. Vijay was giving Kajin a lot of shit.
It was like 20-10, and I was going crazy. I was screaming in his ear and everything. Everything just went wrong.
And then Kajin, then after that, Kajin just got in his face, and I'm just like, what the fuck have I done?
Yeah. They got their tries back, and Tom Turbo got injured that game, the one that ended his whole season.
Oh, dear.
So it was like the worst ever.
And there was a weird decision as well towards the end for the ref.
Yeah. There was that
bit of a weird
shoulder
one.
charge one. Yeah, oh my god, man. my god. But it's alright, we don't talk about 2022 anymore. Even Power fans don't talk about 2022 anymore.
Yeah, too much hype. Nah, Jake's all good. I can't talk too much. But yeah, anyways, just gonna start with just quick reviews. Some quick previews. Yeah, teams. So Penrith, yeah, 3-time champions. Backing it up this year.
Yeah. Looked a bit rusty on the weekend against Wigan, but you know, as you do, it's the first game they've played since the grand final.
Yeah, definitely some new players as well because some of their players have left.
But this is the thing, right? Like, we doubted Penrith after they lost Kickout and Coruscant and Matt Burden and Catewell and all those players, but they've lost two big players. Their best bench player, Spencer Leniu, and the best centre probably in the world, arguably, Stephen Crichton. So it's that next man up mentality, and see if they can do it again. I think what will happen is the top horses will definitely that gap will get smaller, all right? Because I feel like the last 2 years, especially last year, it was just Broncos and Penrith. The rest of them,
Like
they
they're
didn't really have it to match with those two teams. 2022, just Penrith. Like even Paramount Grand Final, they were never gonna win. They could play each other like 10 times, and Penrith would have beaten them 10
Even
times.
though Para beat them in the league,
Man.
but still, the big games on the big occasion, it's
not
a
going
different
to
story.
happen. So, I think this year though, the gap will get closer, in my opinion.
One thing only if Penrith do reach, they do have a big game experience, so most of their players do have it. That's definitely going to be their advantage.
You can't coach experience, right?
Yeah, especially in the big games. But yeah, Broncos so far looking good.
Excited for the Broncos, man.
Well, in the preseason, but can't really judge it off the preseason. But they look strong.
Baby Broncos look good, man. Tristan Saylor, Dean Mariner, Blake Moser, that hooker that they got. Hopefully plays first grade sometime this year. But yeah, the Baby Broncos look good. But what's it called? I think I said this before the grand final preview last year. That Broncos side reminds me a lot of 2020 Penrith when they had a really good year and they just kind of got nervous in the grand final.
Yeah.
Now Broncos definitely didn't get nervous in the grand final, but they didn't have a massive choke job.
Yeah, that was terrible.
Yeah, but hopefully lights a fire under their bellies and it's new year. They got to come with revenge. Problem is two big omissions: Herbie Farnworth, Tom Flegler. Two big players, man.
Yeah, that's scary.
Herbie was so good for them last year, and Flegler and Haas's combination was only getting better. So tough losses.
Yeah, those two. But I reckon they're building something over there. They've got some talent. Yeah.
What do you reckon of Cobbo's positional change to centre?
I don't know. I'd like him on the wing to be fair.
Yeah, right. It's I don't understand this
He's a good
whole
finisher.
Yeah, I don't understand this whole thing about trying to better another position but weakening another position, right? Because that's what Manly are doing as well with Ruben Garrett. They're moving him to centres.
Nah, he's a fullback.
Weakens. No, winger. He's not a winger. He's one of the best wingers.
Oh, winger, sorry.
So moving him to centre and weakening our wing spot. I don't get it. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Well, speaking of Manly, what do you reckon of Manly this year?
Great. What? Another year where it all hinges on one man, Tommy Turbo, mate. Tommy fucking Turbo. Please don't play Orange.
Well, you got Luke Brooks this year.
No, of course. We've got a lot of talented players, but let's be honest. If we want to be a premiership threat, we need that number one player, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, very, very excited for this year. That's because I do feel like Tom will stay fit this year. I think just 2 years, two years of just season-ending injuries midway through the season.
I reckon he'd be determined to maybe play the season out.
Exactly, and it's those two injuries as well that's happened in the last 2 years weren't even lower leg injuries.
They were actually pretty major.
They were major injuries. They also were purely accidental. They weren't some functional. They were he did his pec in Origin, and the year before when we went to the Power game, he did his shoulder diving for the ball. So those are two injuries that are inevitable, right?
Yeah.
It's not like hamstring injuries. So yeah, all rest on Turbo. Please, at least 20 games that he plays. That's all I want, and I reckon we'll do well. And then the rest of the team, very excited. Luke Brooks obviously wasn't excited when we signed him initially, but now it kind of makes sense. That there's a lot of praise around him. He's doing really good in preseason, and him and Ches are combining really well. And then Bro, I reckon we got the fastest backline in the league. What do you reckon? Tolu Kola, Saab, Garrick, Jackson Paulo looking like he's going to get another full spot, and then Tom Turbo, hopefully he's at full speed.
Pretty good,
Bro,
base.
fastest backline in the league, I reckon. So,
Yeah.
we're looking exciting, man. I'm really excited.
Jason Saab, no, that guy's fast. It's like he's jogging to the try line most of the time.
Exactly. It's his stride, bro. He's just too.
He's just such a big dude.
Yeah, he's got that running start, and his strides are just super long. Like you see how long his legs are, bro. That's like no one.
Takes like about 5 meters or something.
I think over 10
Maybe not
meters.
5, but yeah.
Over 10 meters. Tolu Kola and Campera from the Titans.
Yeah.
They'd probably be fastest, but over 100 meters, I reckon Saab.
Saab just, dude, he's not even trying.
Yeah, strides.
That's the thing. I reckon if he tries, I mean, fuck.
And a lot of players to look out for. Jamie Humphries, youngster, might be getting a 14 spot. Paseka's rise, Olaquata's rise. Hopefully an orange spot for Olaquata. Josh Schuster, hopefully he can make a comeback, man. It's been a tough 18 months for him. But I reckon all he needs is consistent football.
Yeah.
There's all these really old man injuries, like calf injuries and stuff like that, which is really concerning for a guy that young. If he can play consistent footy out of his edge back row position with no pressure, I reckon we're looking at a comeback season for my boy Josh Schuster.
Definitely, man.
But very excited, man. Very excited.
Yeah, and also just quick ones on teams maybe that didn't do too well last year. Dragons, Tigers, they played out. Dragons beat them in the preseason game, but still, Tigers beat the Warriors in the preseason game. But yeah, we don't really look at the preseason too much.
Yeah.
Just it's just there to maybe just shake out the cobwebs and just get ready for the major season. Check your bench strength and all that.
I think looking at the bottom four teams from last year: Dragons, Tigers, Bulldogs, and what were the other team was in the bottom four? But those three teams especially, they have improved in their rosters. Like their teams have gotten better.
They've definitely recruited better. I
They've
reckon.
made good signings, but it's just about are their improvements enough to get away to compete with the other teams that also made improvements, right?
I reckon they might do better than what they did last year.
Yeah.
I
Probably.
see them doing better.
I do.
I see the Dragons doing a bit better than last year. Probably not majorly. They'll need a bit of time, but they'll do a bit better than last year.
To be honest, Dragons are the one I'm kind of concerned of because of maybe their depth, man. I don't think they got too many good players if a man goes down in their backs or their forwards, yeah. But we'll see. And Tigers, what do you reckon of the Tigers?
I reckon they've recruited all right, but
Harbs is a problem.
That's it.
Caesar hasn't played for 4 years. And,
he's been in Super League. I mean, it's
and Jaden Sullivan hasn't played a full year of being in the Harbs, so it's a very inexperienced and clunky.
Benji's first full year as coach.
True. That's the thing with Benji, right? He's got pretty much a whole year to experiment because then, they could get another wooden spoon. I don't think they'd sack him. I don't think so, right?
I hope not.
Yeah. So he's got a whole year to experiment. He's got Luai coming next year as well. I think what the Tigers need is to find stability this year and find who's the future to build on for the next few years when Luai comes. I hope he takes the reins. Yeah,
100%. And I think they got a guy from Union as well, Nano Satura. Not Nano Satura. There's another guy. Maybe it was Nano Satura. I don't know who it was, but they did. He was a winger. I think he did play sevens for New Zealand as well. So a few rugby union guys coming over to the league as well from New Zealand, and even I think the Roosters got one from the Wallabies as well.
Who's that?
Mark, I can't say the last name, but yeah, it's a very long last name, but he's pretty quick.
Nice.
I think the Roosters got him or something, or maybe not. But
Roosters getting their lead back from the Union after losing two players, Manu and Suwali.
I mean, yeah.
Jeez.
They're trying to get... Yeah, that's the whole thing with the Roosters. Yeah, Joey Manu leaving at the end of the year. I see him playing the All Blacks. I think he's making the right move. Because he has clearly stated that he wants to play for the All Blacks. He wants to play. It's his dream. Fair enough. I see him maybe... He'll go to Union. I reckon he's taking a Sonny Bill route because when Sonny Bill left Union in 2008, league in 2008, even though he left halfway through the season, Sonny Bill, without anyone knowing, that was a different way of going about it. But he went to France to play Union over there. Then he went to New Zealand. Then he played in the Rugby Union World Cup in the World Cup year. So I see here Joey Manu maybe doing that.
Yeah.
And there's enough time because in 2027 the Rugby Union World Cup is in Australia. So he'll probably want to give himself some time. Maybe not like what Roger Tuivasa-Sheck did, just leaving 1 or 2 years before the World Cup starts. But yeah, speaking of Roosters, Spencer Leniu and Jared Warrior-Hargraves in the forward pack had a bit of a biff last year, but it does happen.
True. They're back there together now.
Dominic Young might be missing a few games due to an injury, unfortunately, but when he comes back, he's a big
straight into the wing. I think for the Roosters, genuinely, I reckon this year's premiership or bust. Like kind of like last dance spot. Because think about it, you lose Manu, you lose Suwali, Kiri's getting older, Jared Warrior-Hargraves is retiring end of the year, and Tedesco is getting older. So this year might genuinely be, like, obviously there'll always be thereabouts, but this year especially in terms of what they have on paper, I reckon might be their last crack at a genuine premiership threat. Because
for a while,
Manu and Suwali are big names to lose. I know Suwali has been, iffy here and there, but he's still a talent. And Manu obviously.
He's been there for a while,
I know I said Critter was the best center in the world, but like, let's be honest, maybe Manu is. But yeah, like legit, it's a big year for the Chooks. Like last few years, everyone's been saying from the start of the season, on paper, they have an amazing team and they should compete, but they haven't, right? Last year was a good end to the season, and they were about 2 minutes away from playing in a prelim with Penrith.
Yeah, exactly.
Before Melbourne, scored in that last minute. But like this year, they need to build on what they finished on last year, and then adding Spencer Leniu and
to be fair, I think they surprised a few people last year getting to.
I know.
Because
but it's like you see that in the back end of the season. You're like, why weren't you doing that at the start of the season?
They're a bit slow to start.
They're such slow starters. It doesn't make any sense. It's like they haven't fixed that problem for years. Even in their premiership years, 2018, 2019, they started off so
sluggishly,
slow. Yeah, man.
And then they click.
Imagine if they just like consistent football from the top, finish top 4 easily, get to rest their players in the end instead of keeping their players and having them tired.
Yeah.
And they come in fresh for the finals. And geez, I'm like I've got big hopes for the Chooks, but like I've had big hopes for them for the last 2-3 years, and they haven't done as well as I thought they would.
Yeah.
But I think in terms of closing the gap with Penrith, I think Broncos and Roosters and Melbourne are the best chance.
Best chance, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, speaking of Melbourne, what do you reckon about them? Pap's back.
Yeah.
Hopefully he stays fit.
Hopefully, man. Hopefully.
Awesome player when he's on song.
And you saw him in the trials. He's definitely put on a good amount of muscle. He looks much bigger and stronger, which is really, really good. Speed is still there, showing that he's got that acceleration.
Bit of playmaking ability. Yeah.
Who I'm excited for definitely is the Farlago kid. I told you about him, but he is Fijian, right?
I think Samoan or...
Yeah, Samoan, Fijian or some shit like that, bro. But he is insane talent. And if, God forbid, Paps does go down, I reckon Farlago just like slots straight in. But,
hopefully Paps doesn't get injured.
No, of course not. Yeah, of course not. We're not.
He's an awesome player.
But like Farlago at 14 and Paps, Munster, Hughes, Grant spine. I mean, that's a top 4. That's a top 4 spine, So yeah, big year.
Paps is a bit of a playmaker as well.
And you know what I reckon Melbourne should do? I reckon they not Melbourne, but I reckon Bellamy should let him know that it's probably his last year, and they'll light like a fire. And let them know that they're gonna send their.
And now he'll extend for another year.
Yeah, exactly.
Fucking hell.
Just do a bit of trolling. We like to do a bit of trolling, but yeah, it's gonna be a big year for Melbourne. Yeah.
Speaking of Bellamy, can't wait for his blow-ups in the box.
Yeah, man, nothing better.
Even when they're doing well, he's probably swearing.
Did you see him in the first week of trials, bro? Trial match and he's going off. Trial match and he's blowing up in the box. It's crazy.
Fucking hell.
It was a trial match and it's like the last 20 minutes of this guy's going crazy, man. No wonder he's quitting or like ending soon, man. He's probably got like heart problems or some shit from the
definitely,
stress.
man.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Amazing coach, but fucking hell, he blows up a lot.
Melbourne, I reckon will be there and abouts in the top 4. I reckon they should be there, and I hope they're serious contenders.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, just Cowboys and Dolphins, the other 2, and Titans, the other 3 teams from Queensland.
Yeah.
Titans, I think, have done some decent recruiting.
Yeah, man. What do you reckon of Des coming back? Oh, not coming back, but like pretty much coming back to the league, coaching the Titans.
And linking up with Foreign again.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Titans have a decent side. I like their 17. They've got a lot of strike in their backs and their halves. Forward pack is really young and got some spark there as well.
Yeah. It's just whether they click consistently.
Yeah.
That's really it.
And listen, I love Des and everything, but he is a very old school, traditional type coach, right? He doesn't like much change. He likes everything to stay stable.
People
So-
will probably be used to his coaching style now.
Yeah, but that's the thing, right? If players are out of form and not performing, like they don't really get replaced that quickly. Like he lets them stay in the squad for a while. I think about Manly, like how long he left Tafua there on the wing when he wasn't playing really well, and all the fans were calling for another winger to come in. No, I like Des though. I like Des, and it's a good move for him. It's a good change and reunite with Foz. But yeah, Titans will be an interesting team this year. I reckon they'll be like mid-table. Yeah.
Yeah, and our Cowboys, I reckon they'll do better than last year.
100%.
They better.
Yeah.
So if they don't, then maybe there's question marks on Peyton keeping his job.
Yeah. I mean, Cowboys have such a good team as well. Like their roster's actually really, really good. But the problem is they do have Chad Townsend in the halves. And with all due respect for Chad Townsend, I don't think he's a premiership standard half.
Anymore.
Yeah, not anymore, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So I reckon Clifford to the halves and him linking up with Dearden would be the switch to make somewhere along the season. Yeah.
And what's the other team from Queensland? The
Dolphins,
Oh,
yeah.
Big Val's lost some weight.
Yeah, he has, eh?
He looks fit, man. He's got the
looks
little
good,
handlebar
man.
and pretty fit.
He does. People were like talking crap about him last year when he looked like massive, and they were like, "This guy would never ever continue playing first grade. He's too fat, he's too big." But look at him now. He looks good, bro. He looks in good shape. I'm excited for Val.
Big Val, man.
Yeah.
And Dolphins have recruited as well.
Oh, very nicely. Herbie, Flegler. Flegler. Bro, that's some big signings, massive signings. And last year Wayne as well, because last year Wayne and the other Super League coach comes next year, so we'll see how Wayne goes with that team.
Yeah.
I reckon similar vibes to Titans, maybe just like mid-table.
Maybe crack the 8
Maybe.
if they're consistent, but yeah.
Maybe.
But definitely. I reckon they'll build on it. They'll do better than last year, but maybe not. Maybe not make the 8, but let's see.
I mean, even if they do, man, that's such a massive achievement after debuting last year.
Yeah.
I mean, what they did last year in itself was so big. Like, nobody expected them to win a game in their first 5 or 10 rounds. They won in round 1 against the Roosters, the notorious slow start.
They were actually in the top 8
Yeah,
at
man.
one stage last year for a bit.
And then Manly had to go ahead and put 50 on them.
And then it just fell apart after that, yeah.
Seaboard had to get his revenge on Wayne Bennett. But it's alright, it's alright. I really like the Dolphins, and they should be super proud of what they did last year.
Yeah.
Let's see if they can build on it this year. Definitely
Yeah,
could.
Definitely. Also...
Who do we got? We got
Sharks, Knights, and Raiders.
Raiders, yeah.
Sharks, I reckon, they've... for some reason, it does look like they have an easy draw,
They
but
do.
I don't think they'll make it.
You don't think they'll make the 8?
No?
You don't think they'll make the top 8?
I don't know. I don't think they will, to be honest.
I think they'll make the top 8 just because of the draw, but once again...
I mean, I don't reckon they'll make it past the second week of finals.
That's the thing. I
If they make the 8.
don't think they're real contenders, man. It's just I don't think their forward pack is as good as it was last year. I know they got some good youngsters coming in, like Hazelton, but like it hasn't not enough improvement for me. And that forward pack is really what let them down last year, I reckon. In
And
the
then
big games.
one thing I reckon they've done well is probably they had to move Matt Moylan on, unfortunately.
Oh yeah,
It just wasn't working
Nah.
out for Matt Moylan. And
Boys that had to go, man. I know they call him the young kid, even though he's like 30s now. But he had to go.
He looks pretty young.
Yeah, Trindle coming in is exciting. I really like Trindle,
Yeah.
and he should have been there much earlier last year. And KO Iro coming into the centers as well. That's very exciting. He's a really good player.
Isn't that Kevin Iro's son or something?
Yep, I think nephew or some shit. Yeah. something like that.
Former Kiwi player,
Yeah,
Kevin
so
Iro.
yeah, exactly. So that's really exciting, and he's a gun player. He's done really good in New South Wales Cup. So yeah, Sharks, they'll make the 8. They'll make the 8, but they won't.
I don't reckon if they make the 8, I don't think they're
They
going to
won't
pass
do
the
much.
second week.
They won't do much. No chance. Raiders.
Raiders. I reckon there might be a dark horse. I'll make it
Really?
nine.
I have a hot take, man. I reckon Raiders might. I reckon they're a spoon smoky, honestly. I'm serious. I think Jack Wyden, massive loss. Their halves are looking very shoddy. I mean, I know they got Chevy Stewart on the wings, but
But then they
he's
might
been-
surprise people. You just never know with the Raiders.
I don't
People
know,
don't
man.
think they make the 8, but then they
'Cause-
somehow do.
I think it was you or another mate of mine that made a really good point. Raiders already get in really close games, right? And in sometimes they win it, sometimes they lose it. This year, I think it'll be much of the same, but I reckon those close games they'll lose it because they don't have that experience in Jack Wyden to lead them on in those last big minutes. They got to rely on Matt Frawley, Kyle Weeks, who's never played like a full year of first grade in the halves, like, and they might have Rapana at fullback to start. I don't rate Rapana like that, man.
He's a winger.
Yeah, so it's going to be really, really, really tough.
I think he's a winger, man. I don't think he's a fullback.
But the thing is, Raiders do have a very good, very talented forward pack.
What happened to Xavier Savage?
Savage will be there, but I think they have him on the wing. I think they've.
So they got rid of Charles Nickel Clock stuff for Savage to play fullback, and then now they're putting Rapana there.
They've sacked the fullback experiment with Savage, which is.
And they got rid of Charles Nickel Clock stuff for him, and then.
But Raiders do have a really good forward pack, which, if they stay healthy, I reckon that's the only thing that can keep them away from a bottom four or a spoon finish. But honestly, I don't have much hope for the Raiders. I think they'll easily fall out the top end and they'll get beaten a lot.
They might get on a good run, but then they'll fall off badly.
Yeah.
Knights, I reckon they might back it up for this year.
Newcastle are interesting.
I reckon they have lost maybe one or two. Dominic Young's definitely a big loss.
Yeah.
But I reckon they've got some good players coming through. And Leo Thompson was a huge find last year. Mm-hmm. Phoenix Crossland, pretty solid.
Yep.
Didn't do much, like just solid, just did his job. And they've got some good young. And Bradman Best had a good year, really good year last year.
But you got to think about it, right? So it's teams like the Raiders. Sorry, not the Raiders. Sorry, the Knights and Warriors, who we'll talk about soon as well. That had really, really good years last year, and
exceeded expectations.
Yeah, exceeded expectations. Like,
massively,
especially Newcastle because they started off really, really bad,
and they haven't been. And they've hardly been in the 8.
Yeah, and they were talking about, should we sack Adam O'Brien? They were talking about Callum Pongo should retire because of all the concussions he had. So it was really a really bad start for them. And bro, they went on to win what, like 10 in a row, 11 in a row to finish the
Storm.
season.
They beat some good teams as well,
and then just stormed into the finals. All the crap, like they had the community again. Like Newcastle fans were actually coming to the home games,
and they were really vocal.
Yeah. So it's that. Are they going to have a hangover from that? You know, can they back that up again?
I reckon they might. I
don't
know. Maybe not as good as last year, but I reckon they'll still be in the 8.
I hope they do. I think it does. Just like with Manly with Turbo, they do rely on another big season from Pongo. And it's whether Pongo can really muster that up again. Because what he did last year is crazy. I still don't think he deserved Dalium. I think it was SJZR.
Yeah, of course it was.
Yeah, but at the same time, he did have a really good year, Pongo.
Yeah.
And he's got to replicate it or.
He was the reason why they kind of went on that winning streak.
Exactly,
He was one of the reasons why.
Exactly. I reckon he was the main reason, bro. He had such a good year that year. But so it's whether they can get up from that hangover from last year's success, because they had a really good year.
Yeah, defs.
Yeah.
Which teams have we covered? Cowboy,
so we've got
Queensland.
Yeah, we've got the Wars, obviously, and then we haven't talked about Rabbitohs and Para.
Rabbitohs and Para.
Yeah.
Rabbitohs, what a fallout. All that promise, all that. And then some issues going on internally. Also issues with Latrell and Cody.
Yeah.
Sam Burgess storming out last year.
Yeah, man.
At a really bad time when they were just dipping a bit, and it just got worse from there.
Yeah.
And there's just question marks on the effort that Latrell's put in, and there's always been, I think, since he's come to the Rabbitohs, been a bit of question marks about his attitude. I mean, like when he's on song, he's awesome, but so it's a bit 50-50. I even talked to one Rabbitohs fan who's just a bit 50-50 on Latrell being there.
Yeah.
But so it's a bit up and down with the Rabbitohs at the moment. The vibe's not great at the moment with so from what I've seen of the Rabbitohs.
I think there's a lot of chip on the shoulders for them after last year. Like
it was a big fallout, massive fall.
Big.
They were number 1 at one stage. And
they were around 10, 11, bro. They were like first on the ladder. They were doing really, really well.
That's one of the rare occasions that's happened.
I know, yeah. So that was a big drop off, big choke. Nearly as big as Broncos run in the grand final. Actually, maybe not. That one was really bad. But yeah, the Rabbitohs. I think they'll definitely bounce back this year. They still have a really good really good team, really good depth. They got in Sean Kepi and Jack White, which is big signings, especially White in the centres. I mean, imagine how good your team has to be to pull a Dally M player out of position, a Dally M and a Clive Churchill player out of position into the centres. So they do have a really good team. Kepi as well. I was kind of deflated that we lost him at Manly, but I think he did need a new change in scenery, sorry, and he's going to do really good at the Rabbitohs. If he plays consistently.
And just before we touch the Warriors, the last one, Parramatta.
Yeah,
I know you hate those guys. You and Kaj have a bit of a rivalry. Manly and Para fans, there is a rivalry. I've actually noticed that. They just seem to really hate each other for some reason. But
even before I met like Kaj and Ahmed and other Parramatta fans that I have beef with right now, I've always hated Para. I don't know why. It's just they've always annoyed me. I think it's because their ego and the way they talk about their club is not relative to amount of success they've had in the modern era, especially.
Yeah,
like,
they cop a lot of Parramatta cop a lot of shit. Yeah.
Why are you talking so much crap when your last grand final was in black and white TV, man? Like, come on, man.
Like victory here. I mean, they reached a grand final.
But I can't lie, with Para, I can definitely see a big bounce back because just like the Rabbitohs, they got a lot of players with a lot of chip on their shoulders that didn't perform last year. That need a especially Dylan Brown, Dylan Brown.
A little controversy off field, that. Yeah.
I think his controversy was the main reason why he was kind of fell off right there.
That and also especially towards the end when they had those discipline issues after the Titans game, they lost a few players due to their discipline and a couple of injuries as well towards the end. But I think the one game where they fell apart was that game, even though like a lot of their players were selected for Origin. Kajan, I know Kajan said it multiple times.
Bring this up.
No, Kajan did say it. Kajan said like, "Oh, we're missing half your team. That's why you won." I'm like, "Yeah, womp Kajan. No one cares." But yeah, seriously. But if you do look at that game, they did fall apart. Even when their players came back, they did fall apart after that Warriors game in Combank, where the Warriors surprisingly, even though the Para were down on trips due to Origin. But like the Warriors don't have a great record at Para.
Yeah.
I didn't expect the Warriors. Like if they were going to win, I thought they were going to win like just by a close margin or something.
That's true.
And the Para were in the top 8 at the time in that game. That was a vital game. If they won that game, they would get a bit of momentum and maybe maintain their place in the 8 after that. But they fell off after that game. Even when the other guys came back from Origin, that Warriors game, about middle to late stages of the 2023 season, they got beaten pretty badly. They were really bad on the night, seriously. They were really bad. Warriors fans made it vocal. We really gave it to the Para fans. Like, no, goodbye. We gave it to them. But that game just really, just from there onwards, it fell apart.
Yeah.
And everything that could have gone wrong for Para really did happen.
It did, yeah.
But one thing I reckon with Dylan Brown, he did all right in that Pacifica Challenge for New Zealand.
Oh, yeah.
So maybe that form for New Zealand, maybe...
No, he's got a big chip on his shoulder, big comeback here that he needs to have because last year was so disappointing.
Yeah.
His performances mixed with what happened off field, especially with how good he was in 2022.
Oh, he was brilliant.
2022 was one of the main reasons why they made the grand final. He was that good. So we know he has that talent and we know he's that good of a player. It's just bad stuff happened last year to him. So
just wasn't the year.
Yeah, he's got a big. This is the thing. There's this stat, right, that in the last 7-8 years, that a team from the bottom 8 from last season will make the top 4 this season, right? So that's happened every year for the last 7 years. So for example, the Warriors didn't make it into the top 8
were second
in
last
2022,
year in 2022.
but you guys made the top 4 last year, and that's been happening with every other team for the last 7 years. So I think in terms of this year, I reckon it will happen again, and I reckon it will be between Rabbitohs, Cowboys, Para, and Manly. One of those bottom 8 teams, one of those teams that finished in the bottom 8 last year, will make the top 4. And I reckon at the moment it looks like it might be the Cowboys. I reckon they have a really, really good roster.
And they're really desperate.
Yeah, and they're really desperate. And yeah, one of those 4 teams, mark my words, you can come back to this at the end of the season, they will make the top 8. One of those 4 teams. Rabbitohs,
will
Para,
make the top 4.
Sorry, top 4, sorry. Rabbitohs, Cowboys, Manly, or Para. That's what I reckon.
Pretty cool, man.
Yeah.
And then, if you're a Manly fan, you'd probably be hoping Para don't because you want to hear the end of it.
Fuck that,
Finish
up with the Waz?
And finish it off with the boys from across the ditch, New
Yes.
Zealand, the Warriors. Losing Josh Curran was big. I wish we didn't lose him. hopefully he comes back to the Warriors one day. He's gone to the Bulldogs. I really hate that move. And okay, actually, might as well talk about the Bulldogs before the Warriors.
We did. Did we touch on it?
Doggies, yeah. No, we didn't. We didn't touch on that. Bulldogs. We've been hearing a lot in the probably a lot of noise about the Bulldogs, pretty much from the end of last season to now. A lot of recruitments. I mean, a lot of recruiting. They did a lot of recruiting towards the end of last year. There was even controversy about some of the commitment of the players. Cameron Ciraldo had a massive go at some of the players.
Yeah.
It's been a lot of media talk about the Dogs.
That's true. Yeah.
Massive. I think it's been more than any other team, to be honest.
Yeah, a lot of attention because they got highly influential people in their team and out their team. So players like Critter.
Now they got Critter, yeah.
Yeah,
they got Joshy
and
Curran.
They got Phil Gus as the owner of the club. So there's a lot of media attention always on the Doggies.
Now, yeah.
And
they've recruited so many players. I think one of the better moves they made was definitely Josh Curran.
Yes, 100%. That's a very.
They needed someone in the forward pack, and I think that's the right guy. He's got a big heart.
And how old is Curran? Curran's like still in the mid-20s or.
Yeah, he's got plenty of time in his career.
And he's a really good player. But what's it called with the Doggies, man? I think they've fixed everything but their spine, man. Like.
Fullback's a concern.
Fullback is a concern. It's been a concern for the last couple of years, and they still haven't fixed that. And if they are trying to do the Critter switch to the fullback, I think I don't think it works out, you know. And with the halves, Matt Burton at 6, I mean, it's their best option, and he does show flashes of being a good 6, but he's also really inconsistent. But he needs to be paired up with a really good 7, because Drew Hutchison is a utility player. He's not really a
main 7, yeah.
First grade 7. And that's the thing with Burden, right?
They might bank on a young player from the reserves or something.
That's the thing with Burden, right? Because he's last 2-3 years where he's been at the Dogs, he's supposed to be playing like a 6. One of his best attributes is his running game, especially when he was at Penrith as a centres. He was such a good runner of the ball.
But now he's just notified not for his bombs.
He doesn't do that as much because he feels like he's the dominant half and he has the weight of the club on his shoulders. So he's doing a lot of organising and creativity when his best assets is his running and his just like elusiveness as a 6. So it needs to get back to that, and I reckon Toby Sexton is the key to that. If they got Sexton as an organising half and a more dominant half, then Burden can just there's less pressure on him, right?
Yeah. So, what do you reckon of the Dogs? Might do better than last year, I reckon, but they'll make the 8.
No, they won't make the 8, but they'll be around, I reckon, 10th to 14th, I reckon.
Yeah. I don't think they'll get the spoon at all. But
they should avoid the spoon. They should, right?
I think maybe the first year, I know there's this thing about the Bulldogs. They're talking about the 4 season, with the 4. So they're saying back in 1984 they won it, and then especially after the last team before Penrith to win the 3 people as para. And Carlton, you weren't even born then, mate. And then after that 1994 they made the final. They lost to the Raiders. Then 2004 they made the final. They beat the Roosters. 2014 they lost to Rabbitohs. Got hammered pretty much by the Rabbitohs there.
So
and then they're saying on that basis maybe they might make it, but and also they've recruited.
That's the only thing they got going for them, just the omens.
Yeah, it's just that they'll do better than last year, but they won't make the 8.
Right, lastly was.
And the Warriors, alright, the boys from across the ditch exceeded expectations last year, definitely did.
Radio.
Really good year. Really surprised they actually did that well. I was expecting if we went well, we would probably finish 8 at 8, actual number 8, and maybe fall out in the first week if we were going to do really well. Otherwise, the only thing I thought last year was maybe we could have finished last, but we also could have just finished in the bottom 8 again, just like we have been for the last 5 years prior to last year.
What a
really good year.
Surprising year,
And guys who struggled in other clubs, who did well initially, then they struggled and left, had their best years in a long time. Chan's had a super year.
DWZ.
Dallin had probably his best year of his career.
100%.
Honestly, that was his best year. The mullet's working, looking like Lionel Richie. And I actually saw the mullet live. I actually saw Dallin.
Yeah,
it actually is real.
A couple times I saw him. It's beautiful.
Yeah, and actually saw the guy face to face. Man.
But that's the thing, right? Like what
Beautiful mullet.
I said with Newcastle as well, where
Can they back up last year?
Yeah, because they had really good years and
Beyond expectations.
They had the community with them as well. The Up the Wires movement went
And
global.
Even in the preseason games this year, both games sold out.
Yeah, exactly.
In New Zealand, that's the
so
thing. So
they've done really well to connect with the crowd and their
social
fans
media
again.
campaigns doing really good.
Yeah, so it's the high of last year. Can they?
And also
bring it up again.
Yeah, and the New South Wales Cup team did very well last year. Just
Yeah.
one game away from the final in the New South Wales Cup or something.
Yeah.
Lost to the Rabbitohs. But yeah, so there's young talent coming, and also they're trying to build. What they're trying to do is like kind of like the Broncos at Penrith, get the build their reserve grade teams and that, get the youngsters coming through, and then get them to the main team instead of trying to buy players from other squads.
Yeah.
I think that's a smart move.
Yeah.
Maybe save some money as well, but they did recruit in the off season. Well, I mean, not really recruit, but they can maybe recruit in a way.
Yeah.
RTS Roger Tuivasa-Sheck
That's sad.
returning from Union, but this
Yes.
time at centre. And he impressed in the centres in the preseason games, but yes, like I said earlier about the other
Very
games,
nice.
you can't really judge a season, how the season's going to go off 2 preseason games.
But it's good to
But it's
see that
promising.
he still has that movement, that kind of step on him, the
The
speed.
meters,
Yeah,
still
man.
the meters. He's stronger now.
Yeah.
He made a try-saving tackle on the weekend, just kind of like
that's
the old days.
Oh, nice.
Just
There
like
you
the old
go.
days, making those try-saving tackles.
That's good. That's good.
For the Warriors. So yeah, and just doing the meters. His meters are always good. He always runs good meters.
Yeah.
So yeah, Roger Tuivasa-Sheck at centre. Rocco Berry was he got better towards the end of the season for the Warriors at centre. I don't know about who the other guy was. What's the guy? Adam Pompey. They've signed him. I don't know if he'll play though. Webster's backing him, but the Warriors club, people like half on half on, like 50-50 on Adam Pompey.
Yeah.
Pompey, sorry. Thinking about Italy, you know that place Pompey? Yeah, sorry, man.
Jeez.
But Ali, that
Italy or
yeah,
he's a guy.
that kid's good. He only played one game last year against the Raiders. He was very impressive there.
Yeah.
He got injured, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But I see him and maybe Roger Tuivasa-Sheck being the centre pairing. Rocco Berry maybe as a backup. I don't know about Pompey, man. I mean, you signed him, but maybe he might not make it. Who knows? Might be the last year for Marcelo Montoya. Maybe they might move him on, maybe not. Oh, wait, I think they've signed him again.
Oh, have they?
I'm not sure what they did with him, but maybe I don't know if he's going to stay there for too long. But Sean Johnson potentially his last year.
Yeah.
Only a 1-year extension.
He had another big year from SJ.
Yeah, he had a super year last year. Should have won the Dally M, but it is what it is. You can't really cry about it now. Who else was there? Luke Metcalf, impressive last year. Unfortunately, a few injuries, but see how he goes. Chanel Harris-Tavita returning after a 1-year absence due to personal issues. Hope he's good. Yeah, he was okay in the preseason games as well.
Yeah.
The forward pack looks good.
FB's last year.
AFB's last year, sadly, but hopefully he goes out on a high. Webster extending. There's some good young players coming through. A lot of promise, but can they back up? That's the thing, just like what you said with the Knights.
Yeah.
Excellent season last year, beyond expectations.
Yeah.
Can they back up? Have to wait and see.
Yes, 100%.
Have to
Very
wait and see,
exciting.
really.
Very exciting.
There is a danger that we could fall off, because last time we made the finals, in the 8, we did pretty badly the next year. So,
What year was that?
2018, and then 2019 we didn't do too well. So,
Yeah.
Warriors do have that habit, but maybe it might change this time around. Webster's
Maybe,
a
yeah.
huge influence.
He
The
is.
crowd are really, the community in New Zealand, the Warriors fan base is really vocal. And social media campaign, all that, that's making a bit of a difference with those fans and that. A lot of promise. Let's see what happens. That's all I
Yeah.
can say. 50-50. I'm not sure what's going to happen. I reckon we might just make the 8, or maybe just miss out, like maybe finish 9th or 10th, maybe at worst, but
Yeah.
we might just make the 8. But can we do better than last year, or maybe match last year? Time will tell. That's it. I'm
exactly.
50-50 on it. But yeah, that's that. Very interesting year ahead. Origin, Michael Maguire's the new coach now.
Yeah.
Maybe New South Wales might be able to break that hoodoo.
Maybe. It depends on the selections, right? Yeah.
Exactly. And at the end of the year, the Pacific Cup, the Tri-Nations. Haven't seen the Tri-Nations in a while. Hopefully it's good.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's a wrap. Thank you very much for your time, guys. Probably going to catch you to do some live
Yeah, we'll
streams.
do a
Keep you
lot of content
updated.
with the 40 season.
Yeah.
100%.
Doing cricket, rugby league, rugby union as well. and maybe some other sports as well, like Russian bear fighting. Anyways, thanks guys. Have a good night and day or wherever you are in the world, and bye for now. That's
See
it.
you guys.
Shit.